Hello, generals and soldiers. This is Frederick II, my very first Napoleonic Total War video. Now, for this battle, uh, I am playing as Sweden, and I got one of my friends over here, Forrest Gump, playing as Prussia. It won't pop up. For this one, it's a 3v3 public online, and I believe it's also a ranked. And this was one of the best battles I've done on this game so far. I've come a long way playing other Total War games such as Empire and Rome 2, and after messing around a bit with some of the veterancy features which allows you to level up some units, I decided to test it out on Sweden. Faction not often used because it's one of the minor factions and it's not often looked upon. But I gave it a run for this one, and it paid off very well, very well. So for this one, I'm going to go over my team's units. Over here, I got just roughly about 8 units of line, 7 or 8 units of line infantry. One of them I think is a foot guard. No foot guard. Okay, because normally I would use the elite troops, but after that, I've got 4 mounted Jaegers, which are light dragoons that can shoot while mounted. I would prefer using the Jaegers, but the mobility for these units to get out of a quick hustle from Cav, it really pays off. Then I've got 3 artillery. The rules were 4 skirmishers, 3 art, max of 1 howitzer. No real limit on the cav or the line count, because the rule's already there. They kind of hinder you, depending on what nation you play. Then I got 1 unit of hussars as extra cav, just in case, and then there's my little general. For this one, I think I picked, yes I did, I picked Karl Johann, otherwise known as Marshal Bernadotte, one of Napoleon's old marshals, although he was kicked out. For Austria, sorry about that, still need some water. For Austria, they have several units of line, I believe about 5. Yeah, just about 6 or 5. One of them is the Archduke Charles. Now this one is very good at buying some time or even leading a mass charge in terms of firefights, because they got good accuracy, good reload, and excellent morale. It's got a couple Hungarians, which are slightly better than the German Fusiliers, which is the German line, but they are a little more pricey. But I still think it's worth it. Then we have Cuirassiers. For his cav, he's got 3 units: 1 Lancer, 1 Hussar, and 1 heavy cav, which is another Archduke Charles Legion. A lot of people would like using this one because they have high morale, high damage, and very reliable. And for him, he brought 1 howitzer and then 2 12-pounders. The thing about Austria, though, is that when they bring 12-pounders, or just any artillery really, it's kind of hard to maneuver them since they have no horse. It's all slow, so repositioning is very difficult playing as Austria. He's got 4 units of skirmishers, which are Jaegers. Pretty good. Able to place down the stakes. 65 accuracy. Yes, I know the stats. I'm that big into it. Very good units, though. And then finally we have Prussia. Now this, personally speaking, this is my favorite faction. But for this one, I just decided to go with Sweden. For here, he's got several units of line. He bought most of the infantry in terms of line. About 4. I'm just running off the numbers here. About 6 units, and these ones, though they are not the best in the game, they're second only to the British. They are very good at pinning down, pummeling, or bombarding other line infantry, especially if you start to level them up. He's got the basic general staff. No one here, other than me, brought the elite general. several lancers, which is very good for skirmishing the enemy in terms of making them go into the square, and some Freikorps and 1 unit of dragoons. Then he's using a couple Fusiliers and 1 unit of Jaegers. Now, the Fusilier advantage is, well, for Prussia, their light infantry, they get an extra 40 men in comparison to 80 of Jaegers or Schutzen, and reduced accuracy. So I would take the manpower, because they can clump up and reduce casualties while being able to still fire in multiple ranks, which is very good for Prussians. Alright, and then the faction, I believe, we have France, Britain, so two British armies and 1 French army. I don't understand why the enemy picked 1 French army, but that's that. Now, let's skip forward a bit to the battle deploys. Oh, the map we are fighting on
wet powder makes misfires a certainty.
Homestead. Homestead is originally an Empire Total War map, but it's been slightly modified to be a bit larger. Let me slow that down. And it works very well for flanks, frontal attacks, artillery, duels. It's a very good map overall, well liked by the community. Now let's look at the Brits and the enemy's team. So over here we got this army brought several 4 dragoons, 2 are light, 1 howitzer, 6-pounder horse. That's going to be useful for them to move up. And then 4. Wow, he only brought 1 German legion. Normally you can bring 2, but they decided to go with 1. So he's got roughly about 7 units of line infantry for that British army. Over here, roughly the same thing, but they brought rifles, which is very good. 125 range, which is the max, and 80 accuracy. So if used properly, they can rack you up multiple kills. Like probably take out several units by themselves. So he's got some foot guard over here. So in Coldstream guard. Now these ones, the only difference is that Coldstream slightly better in melee defense, not good in attack. They have 1 less morale than the normal foot guards, but they're still very good in firefights. Then he's got the King's German Legion foot. So he might be hiding a couple other skirmishers over here that we can't see. Several hussars, and then finally we have the French. Now I'm not a huge French player, but I do appreciate the amount of variety these guys have. I mean, look, he's got I love the uniforms of the French Fusiliers and some of the chasseurs. I think also my favorite one by far is the Old Guard. But instead, this guy brought Young Guard, which is relatively close in terms of damage, accuracy, and morale. They're just slightly cheaper and slightly less. So he's, as an overestimation, he's got about six units of line, including the Swiss. Now this one I definitely love looking at. I like how the Swiss uniforms always come out in vibrant colors in comparison to the French blue and white. Yeah, he's got several Swiss, and then he's got artillery de pied. I think it's pretty well known for all Napoleon Total War players that French artillery is the best. It's not even opinion. It's just, it has the best stats. All right, so that's that. Now let's get this battle underway. Fast forward a bit. Now it does take a little bit of time because of these hills, which slow down your units even if you're just walking. Alright, so first we got British cavalry moving up through the center towards the Austrians. Just not a bad move. They're just trying to secure a good position. And we got some howitzers shelling them from the Austrians. Now what you gotta be careful is even if you're just scouting, you need to send up infantry or have artillery deployed. It looks like the Austrians might actually go for a charge over here. No, they're just securing another position. And then here I am, mounted Jaegers. So over here, I was trying to secure the hill and ensuring that I had a good spot to deploy my infantry. Here we go, British cavalry, light dragoons, German light dragoons going in. Ooh, but they're about to be encircled by the first hussars. Oh, supported by some of my mounted Jaegers. This is not going to be good. He's going for the Austrian skirmishers. Austria needs to pull out. Yeah. Unlike the line infantry, since they can't go into square, just one, even a severely weakened cav unit can ultimately devastate any skirmisher force. So the British weren't successful. I mean, well, they were in killing about half the regiment, but not a huge loss to the Austrians. Let's keep going over here to the Prussian front. So Prussia is also setting up. They got a good position right here in this left side slash center, but they're getting double teamed by both Britain and France. Now French infantry is also pretty good. Like the more elite units like the Swiss, which has got good accuracy. But if he doesn't get reinforcements from the Austrians, then he's going to get pushed back all the way. Now let's check out the Swedish front. So we got a couple units of British coming over here. Now, during the battle, I didn't understand why Britain didn't try to rush me or try to shoo me off of the hill, because right now I'm setting up with my ally several units to secure to secure this hill where we could place down artillery, because mine is not horse, and going through the woods severely slows it down. Alright, so we've got to get a quick skirmish here with the mounted Jaegers. Perhaps. Prussia's firing off a few shots. Ooh, taking several casualties from French artillery. France has still got plenty of reserves now that they combined forces with the British. Oh, British howitzers are firing. Any good hits? Ooh, they're starting to pummel down on the Prussian light infantry. That is not good at all, especially since the British rifles have superior range. So it's looking pretty well set up over here. I've got some mounted Jaegers. See, this is what happens when you don't send any cav or line infantry, because if you just advance your skirmishers, even as a scouting force, one unit of cav will ultimately destroy them. Especially in the woods where your speed is decreased, because, as we all know, horses are going to destroy them. So, battle's underway. Let's go check back with the French and the Prussians. Alright, so Prussian artillery finally deployed upon the hill, taking few. So they're still getting pummeled by French and British howitzers. And as I said before, French artillery is vastly superior to everyone else in the game for accuracy, so they are getting quite a few kills. Now, even though Prussia is trying to play it safe, overextending your line like that is going to lead to a little bit of friendly fire, but also the French can concentrate more of their numbers with taking minimal casualties. Oh, what do we have over here on the Swedish front? Yep, as definitely took out that British rifle unit. Oh, so if you, by taking out these skirmishers, Britain has to be the aggressor, because I could just sit back or harass them with the mounted Jaegers, no problem. So in the center we got, I just remembered too, Prussia wasn't my friend that was playing with me, it was he was playing Austria. So we got a very solid position up here. I've definitely got the edge because level 2 line infantry for Sweden is about 1 point below elite infantry. Britain set up one of the British armies set up very well on this hill, putting up stakes so no cav charges can come there. Although I don't know why he's advancing right here. That's just going to end up with more casualties. Britain's very slow to react, finally sending a line infantry unit. So these two British armies are trying to focus down on me in Austria, but the one in the center is also helping Prussia, so if he goes down first, that's splitting the army in two. Here we go with the French and the Prussians. Russian line infantry and skirmishers actually peppering down some of their voltigeurs. Or chasseurs, my bad. I thought they were voltigeurs because they were in skirmish formation. The French lancers are also taking casualties. He needs to move them either on the extreme flank or get them out. Uh-oh. Sorry, there was some unit that just said it was running away. I must have missed that, but it's still fairly quiet on the Swedish front. Let's go back to the Prussians. Alright, now... Oh, we got a unit of chasseurs that are breaking. That's going to disrupt the French quite a bit. And they're falling back to a better position. The French need to move up in order to hold off the Prussians, because the Prussians are fighting both Britain and them. France has plenty of reserves to spare too. He's draining his allies' reserves in order to fight one army, which arguably is outnumbered. And see, yep, now Austrian support has arrived, and I believe I also sent a unit of Jaegers. No, they have not been sent in yet. Okay, so I did have one life guards afoot. I knew they were there somewhere. So Britain is still being harassed by my Jaegers from the woods, causing quite a bit of trouble. Even the artillery is missing, because when artillery is fired in the woods, it messes up its accuracy. When I managed to get a 6-pounder up close, let's go back to Prussian, or let's go to the center. So one unit of mounted Jaegers just got creamed by British rifles and line infantry, and they hit by friendly artillery fire. British is doing fairly well up here on the small hill they've got.
Our men are running,
shoot down on both Austria's center and the coalition right here on the right. We got 2 units of Swedish line infantry that are crammed in each other. Although no friendly fire, they're able to rapidly unleash more volleys across the British line. They're starting to lose slightly. How far? France still bombarding, and they have reasserted control of their side of the hill, but they are not advancing further out of fear of the Prussian skirmishers. Moving up. Prussia is moving up to dragoons. Very good move. Although if he goes in, he's going to have to fight quite a few reserves. So Prussia is now in a stalemate. Neither side wants to completely move forward, because if France comes over here, he also has to fight the reserves. Prussia comes over here, they have to fight all this line. So it's really a stalemate. And Austrian cav charging the German light force, breaking rifles in the process. Very good move by Austria. Very good move. That is going to drain it. You see that? Yep. Now it's bringing British cavalry over to the right side, their right side, in order to reestablish that line. And over here, British cav finally engaging mounted Jaegers, but being shot down sadly by Swedish line infantry. They just took way too long to advance, and it's costing them. Although it's frustrating, the mounted Jaegers won't run. Just walking, getting killed. Come on, guys. Oops. Prussian line infantry is now falling back. Russian cavalry counterattacking the French cavalry that went in towards Austrian skirmishers. Not good for Austria at all. They're losing their cabs. It's very bad. Russia needs to support Austria when it's attacked. Oh my god! Austrian cavalry taking out the artillery de feu. Wow. That was amazing. Even while being fired upon, they still managed to take out one unit. And that's going to be a huge help, because without that artillery support, France is going to ultimately fall apart by attrition. Unless they launch the first attack. Over here, Swedish lines taking quite the beating, but they're also punishing the British. They're very well formed against the British. But now, one thing the Napoleon and Empire Total War game is that line infantry that go into square, even if they have a lower defense status than the attacker's attack, they will more often than not hold off the attack as long as square formation holds. It doesn't just work for cavalry. Swedish mounted Jaegers also firing upon British lines as they try to slowly advance. They're shaken.
Sir, our general is under attack.
Oh, British general under attack. And the British lines are starting to crumble. Over here, they're still strong on the hill, but they are leaving a gap by the counterattacks. Now, the British extreme left is slowly but surely getting separated from the French and his other British ally. France, now realizing they have to launch the attack in order to take the initiative, taking massive casualties right now from Prussian lines. Very good moves by the Prussians. They just poking back and forth, triggering. Oh my god! Prussian artillery gone. It's going to be quite a blow. They need that artillery. They need the artillery. Awesome. Oh my! British cavalry going in for a mass charge on the Austrian lines. States not able to pull them off completely. This could be the turning point. My bad. Austria was doing very well in the beginning. Very well, launching the attacks, killing quite a few British, but because the British were able to hold the reserves, they have now just exhausted the Austrian lines. Austria having to friendly fire in order to reestablish control of the situation and sending over reserves to the Prussians in order to reestablish another line. Over here in the center, the right British army. What's going on back here? Swedish cavalry taking out British artillery. There we go, folks. That's going to be it for the extreme right British. Without that artillery, they've pretty much exhausted. They've lost all their skirmishers on this side. They've lost much line over here. And without that artillery, they're just going to keep being harassed. Although Swedish artillery not doing much in favor, getting slight amount of kills. I had to send some Jaegers over to reestablish them. I keep saying reestablish, to hold the line and control the flank. British, unfortunately, despite their vast success at crippling the Austrian forces, they overextended him.
Our men are running, sir.
More men fleeing from the fight. I'm going to go over here. A lot of infantry taking the beating, especially Austria's. Even despite losing, they are still inflicting casualties amongst the British, who do not have the reserves in order to keep fighting. Me, on the other hand, I've got several units of Austrian line infantry that I can use to assist. British trying to go for the counter, but it fails ultimately. Counter-charged by both the general and the mounted Jaegers, which, keep in mind, are not made for mass charging.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
So Britain is now, the center British army is now forcing Prussia's hand on its flank, on its right flank. Still, Prussia will not move its reserves. They need to move the reserves up. Right now, the whole French army is moving theirs. They still got 2 in the reserve back here. And despite taking casualties, they will continue to push and put pressure on these Prussian not Jaegers, the Prussian light infantry. Go back to this side. Ending up to be a very bloody battle. So, yeah, the Archduke Legion just broke. British line charging the line infantry, but losing. See, this was one of the first. I had the smallest army out of all of our allies, but it was also the best trained. So, most likely going to lose the artillery over here. And we're leading an attack on the Brits over here. Austria needs to move up its line infantry because right now it is losing all of its Hungarians. That is not good. In order to win this, Austria has to move. Sorry, I'm laughing because this one unit is just sitting there like, come on guys, please help me. British howitzers still continues obviously putting the fire on. See, they speeded out, the British speeded out a lot of cash on experience for this one. Drastically increasing its both reload speed
Our
and
men are
accuracy.
running, sir.
So my side is starting to not fall apart, but it's under a lot of strain right now because many units are running out of ammo. They're getting tired. The general's still alive, which is a great thing because the higher elite general, the longer your troops will stay in battle, just even while losing men. Prussia finally able to push back the British attack on its right flank, are enveloping the French on the hill. If the French do not break this left with one unit of Austrians and I'm just going to say the Germans, if they don't break the Germans here, they're going to be encircled, and even having high ground will not save them. Also under fire from Prussian howitzers, which have been doing very well, winning decisively in punishing these chasseurs. Keep in mind, once you go down below 80, you have less than valuable Jaegers. Prussian Lancers breaking. Britain launching an attack, but they are getting shredded by artillery, both Swedish and Austrian. One unit of Austrian howitzers, I believe. Yep. Do I have any mounted yet? One mounted Jaeger left. So the extreme right, this army is
One of our units has used all its ammunition,
they
sir.
were harassed in the woods. Losing the rifles in the beginning really just drained them. It was just bleeding their manpower dry. And now they're about to lose their general. So more and more of my units are running out of ammunition, but they are destroying this British army who initially were here but had been pushed back. So the plan of splitting the two British armies did work, and it drained this. Unfortunately, despite how well this British army did, breaking through the Austrian center and holding up its own against the Austrian and Swedish front, it drained. It had no reserves left. It wasn't enough. France finally launching the main assault. They're being counterattacked very hard by the Austrians. Austria pretty much throwing whatever they got left because look at them. There's nothing. They also split their armies on both the right and the left. The Prussia now focusing mostly on the French side. They are charging musketeers into the Swiss line. It will not be enough though. Oh, here I go. I love the bayonet charges out of the ground surface. This Swiss unit will break. Another Swiss unit breaks. France is losing its line, and it is not forming up with this unit. It needs to reestablish, probably fall back. Trying to swear to hold off Prussian.
Our men are running, sir.
Over on this front, Swedes, my line infantry getting tired and losing morale, but they are still able to hold their own against the British. Hungarian Fusiliers breaking. We got a small skirmish with the British general, who is on the verge of death right now. Still, no general has fallen. And British skirmishers taken out by a lifeguard's foot melee charge. I don't usually hold that much reserves. Oh. Unfortunately, Austria and the Prussian attack, though very successful in taking out two units, over here, it still wasn't enough, and it's taking too many forces. But over here, Prussia, after breaking through the Swiss line, is now setting up a new flanking line. Winded, but still not out of the fight. The French have repositioned their young guard. Prussia will get the first volley on the chasseurs, which are very close to the breaking point right now.
Our men are running, sir.
France nearly out of men, or just losing their reserves. And the British general going in, the center British general now going in for an attack on my general. Oh, Austrian Fusiliers coming back into the fray. Now, I think I only have about 2 units that still have ammunition at this point. All of these are melee. This one. Okay, let's head back over here against the French. France and Prussia are throwing themselves at each other. They've been going back and forth, trying to see who will get the advantage. Unfortunately, it just comes down to summarize. Prussia will push. They get held back up by the French. France makes a counterattack, but they get held back by the German
One of our
coalition.
units has used all its ammunition, sir.
It's been taking out multiple reserves, but thanks to Austrian reinforcements and despite losing, the Prussians might be able to, they will be able to hold, I believe. I do not remember the outcome of this battle. British reserves, or British lines, but under constant harassment from Austrian artillery. And Sweden destroying the British foot
Our
guards over
unit
here.
is dead, sir.
Outman the British on the right and the center just could not hold up. And now Sweden is I'm completely free to move across the battlefield and support. And France knows it too, because Britain only has several units, so they are trying to consolidate their line and hold up, but Prussia is not allowing them to set up defenses. They keep advancing line infantry to the point where France is replugged and hit by French howitzers. I will say this: despite French line infantry struggling quite a bit during this battle, their artillery is putting much pressure, straining the Prussians and forcing them to extend lines and expose to volley fire. Some reserves over here in Prussia. I don't understand why. There's no skirmishers left. And I might be repeating myself here, but it truly, in the beginning of the battle where Britain lost many skirmishers, like all 4 over here, to about 2 over here, and then another 2 over here, it just cost them. They were not able to skirmish the enemy or harass them, and it just, the enemy skirmishers were the ones that were able to put pressure on them. Now, hit by cannon shot, the lifeguards afoot with 110 men strong, still able to fight and give it their all, but will retreat to the woods in order to take less casualties because they're the only ones with ammo at this point. Oh, square. British line charging by square is ineffective in every way. Yeah, British line is about to break right here. There's no way they can win that. And Prussia going through the center of France under constant fire. 1 unit breaks, melee charge in, now under land starts. They're trying to go into square, but the the Prussian lines are just going to hail fire on them until the French break. They cannot afford to go into squares. Now they are retreating. Prussian right moving forward. The British losing another line of infantry. German Legion trying to hold long enough to inflict enough casualties onto the Swedish line. They do shatter the Fusiliers that came back into the fight, but they did a good job. In charging the general! The Swedish general charging in. And taking out howitzers. Effectively taking them out. But they're counter-charged by the British general. So, okay. So not many losses to the Swedish general, but Britain is on its last leg. It's on a flimsy little pedestal, trying to slow down the onslaught, but it is impossible at this point. France encircled on the hill, giving a desperate countercharge to the musketeers, but it's not enough. German infantry just completely circling.
Our men are running, sir.
Swedish line, I think, just broke. Yep. Under attack from the British general, winning decisively. The line infantry over here also does not want to get close. I could go for a melee charge, but I try to keep my men alive. Alright, now it seems that the Swedish line are moving forward. Possibly just going to shoot down the British.
Glorious victory, sir, is soon to be
France
yours.
down to one unit of the Young Guard, giving a heroic last stand, trying to hold them off, while the general, by himself, charging Prussian musketeers. And there we go, two generals down, both on the enemy team. That's it. Yep, the British howitzers gone, the French have completely dissipated. Wow. That was quite something else. So I got the most kills out of the game for my team. But the British General William the Bastard, I believe was the center force, did excellent, charging Austria on the center, holding me and Austria on the left, and sending support to the French right. Did excellent job during that game. Now, that was a very good battle. Very good battle. So over here, Austria. Wow, they didn't get. Oh no, I got the most kills. Sorry, I was looking at the losses. So William the Bastard, not the one I was talking about. Sorry, the wrong one. So William the Bastard, I believe, was on their left. The one I was able to break quite easily. You taking out their skirmishers. The one that did very good was the British center was Emerkis. That was the one I was talking about. Over 1,700 kills. Not bad. You know, France tried, but they just were not coordinated over here on their right. They were not sending support. They kept clumping up. They weren't maybe not. I wouldn't say aggressive enough, but they did not completely plan out an attack. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. There will be more soon, and leave a comment, leave some thoughts. I want to know your ideas on how I can make this better, because I'm just starting out to do this, and I really love this genre of gaming. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on next time, my fellow generals and soldiers.